I'm making some Christmas cards out of scraps today. Come on in. Hello everybody, this is Julia Laird with Senior Susie Stamps, and today is Thursday, and it's the very last of my scrap series Thursday. I thought last week I was going to have to cut it off, but I found some cards while I was putting everything away in the studio this week that I had already kind of put together, and so I made 4 of them for Sunday with Susie, and today I have 5, the last 5, the final 5 to make. And these are some cards that I will use for a few extra cards for Christmas. They came out of this pack of Gifts of Gold from Hobby Lobby that I got several years ago. And the only scrap now that I have left to go back into this pack is this one little sheet that has some sentiments on it. I've used every little tiny piece of scrap that there was in this pack. So I'm going to put this out of the way and we'll get started. I am going to use the same stamps that I used the other day, and it's this Christmas greeting set. May the joy and love you feel this holiday season extend to every day throughout the year. That's what will go on the inside of all these cards. Now, I don't know if I'll need this Merry Christmas stamp or not. We'll see as these cards shape up. I made these little packets, gosh, it's been months ago now, seems like. When I first started doing Christmas cards, because I wanted to be sure and use up the scraps from this pack of paper. It's kind of a weird little color combination, and I have found that Stampin' Up! Baked brown sugar goes very nicely with the brown color that's in this paper. And I'm going to do a little extra substance to this card front here by adding a piece of cardstock to the back of it, and that way I can put some foam on the back when I want to. And then I think I'll do this going across the middle. And I'm going to leave it hanging off the edge long enough to see what I've got, because I have these little striped pieces, and I'm not sure just exactly how long they really are, to be honest with you. It's kind of weird doing a packet like this ahead of time and then not really remembering it. So every one I open is a new card, kind of, to me, that way. So this should actually be a landscape card. I have some blanks over here that I have not scored yet. I had to cut all new card bases this week because I was completely out of card bases, and I didn't get any of these scored. So let me get that right quick. It won't take but a second here. This is an A2 size card, so I'm going to score it at 4 1/4. And then fold it and burnish it. There. So now we can see I may want to go ahead and trim those off. Let's see how long these little pieces here are. Yeah, see, they're not long enough to go all the way across. So let me glue them down, and then we'll just do the trim all at one time and get it foamed up and get this card finished. None of these should take very long. They were kind of designed to be fast and furious cards to be made at the last minute if you happen to run out of cards. And better get off that card base, hadn't I? That would not be nice. if I glued my stuff on there. A little piece of trim like this can go a long way in making your card pop, especially when it's got that nice foil on it. Okay, so sorry about reaching across there. I'm going to go ahead and trim this off. And now I'm going to foam this up. And we'll get this card put together. I did not plan on a lot to go on the inside of these cards. I'm really just doing card fronts today. So if you're looking for ideas on things to do on the inside of cards, there are several other videos on the channel. Hey, I wanted to mention to you all that this should be broadcast on Thursday, and it will be 1 year exactly since I started my YouTube channel. And I think we rolled over 1,700 subscribers today, and today is Sunday afternoon when I'm recording this. So it's amazing to me how my little YouTube channel has grown, and I just wanted to say a big thank you to all of you for that, because it's really been you all who have been promoting my channel by subscribing and liking, and I just wanted to say a big thank you for that. I think on this one, I cut this little tree out, and I think it might need a little white back, but I'm not sure. Let's just leave that for right now. I'm going to put this up on a piece of foam as well. Now this was part of the paper pack, and I just mounted it up onto some white cardstock just to give it a little bit of structure so that when I put it up on foam it doesn't collapse down on me. Now I've got some gold metallic gems over here and some other things that may make a nice embellishment for this card if we get the Season's Greetings put in the right spot. See, there's 5 snowflakes there, and they're just calling out for a gem in the center of them. So let's use that to our advantage. And I've got some of these metallic gems again that I got from the Dollar Tree, and they are on strips of adhesive, so you have to kind of cut them apart a little bit. Well, let's just see. I think this will make a really nice addition to this card. There, that should be enough. I get these little metallic gems from the Dollar Tree when they have them. They don't always have these. And so I kind of watch for them, because there's certain card holidays like Christmas where they really rock the card. And this happens to be one of those cards that's just really calling out for some glam. There we go. Card's done. Easy peasy. And see how much shimmer and shine that has. Wow. Okay, there's one. Let's move on and see what the next envelope holds. It's actually not an envelope, it's just card front. Oh, now that's going to be pretty. Okay, looks like maybe I had kind of planned to do the same thing here. Perhaps. This paper is just not super duper heavyweight, and that's why I'm using my first layer pages to give it just a little more structure. And there we go. Now This is kind of the same kind of card here. Only it just has a little different card front on it. Let's see how long these are. Nope, they're just not long enough, are they? All right, well, here we go. It's the same layout. And this one looks like it's going to say Merry Christmas. So let me get this kind of in the center. I'm using my grid mat here to center my page. And even though this is just a thin strip of paper, it really makes a nice border for these two pieces of paper to coordinate. The gold foil and the stripe brings the gold foil in the back page, and then it just breaks it into a nice little vignette card front that you can do most anything with then. This is a good little recipe for a card front that you can use for most any sized card. So there we go. And I'm going to put this one up on some foam also. And this Merry Christmas was cut out of the paper also. And put on a little piece of plain white cardstock out of my scrap bin over here. I'll make this landscape top fold. And this size is 3 3/4 by 5, which means it has a nice little border around here. And then we can put the little Merry Christmas down here on foam and be done. Easy peasy. And because I have this little tree cut out over here, I think I'll put that on the inside of this card. There. Just like that. Glued in. I tried to kind of make a mix on these cards between regular A2 size and some mini slimline cards and get as much of the paper used up as I possibly could. And I really was pleased at how well I was able to use up the paper. Now this one, I didn't have enough to do a card front, but I had enough to do a card front that was covered up in the middle. So that's what we're going to do. And sometimes when you have card fronts, you have to do this. It's a trick of the trade. And with whatever you're covering it up with, and in this case, we're going to use that stripe piece that I had left. But whatever you're using, it will trick your eye, if you will, into being able to accept that the pattern flows all the way across the page and that it is one piece of paper, even though you know it isn't. And the pattern doesn't quite match up, perhaps. Let me show you. So I've got this coming across like this. And there we are. And now this piece will go right up the middle. and glue the two together, and your brain just doesn't even notice that it's not exactly the right pattern. So when you're using up scraps, that's a good thing to remember about the way your brain kind of works. Bring that all the way down to the edge here. And then kind of follow the pattern up. I really like the foiling on this paper. It makes it nice. Now on this one I had just a little strip here, and I think I will go ahead and put that up on a solid piece of foam and give it just a little bit of structure. Maybe just one more little tiny piece here. I cut that just a little bit short, didn't I? I find when you're foaming things, sometimes you have to be a little more generous, and other times you can get away with not having quite so much foam under things and be fine. But in something like this, because the paper is not very heavy, it's always better to err on the side of caution. Now, this doesn't go quite as far as it should. Let's just not worry about that, because it's a scrap card. And then this season's greetings is going to go right over here, and it'll be fine. And because I foamed up the dotted layer, then I'm going to glue this one right down on it. There we go. Card's done. Let's see what this one looks like. Okay. This is kind of that funny little snowfall. Let's see. I think I'd like to have as much of that gold showing as I can. So let's go ahead and get that glued down. And I have a cardstock front here to utilize. And I believe that one is 3 3/4. Yeah, it's 3 3/4 by 5. So I'm going to make sure my top line comes straight across and pick up parts of these little gold guys here. And then looks like I need to bring this down just a touch in order to get into the area of a card layer. And y'all have seen my card layer chart many times. If you need to have it again, it's over on the Facebook page. I have it linked to the top, so just go to my Facebook page, it's Senior Susie Stamps, and it'll be there waiting on you. So this one I'm going to put right across there. And this is just using up some little tiny bits of scrap, isn't it? And there we go. And then we'll just cut them off. Now I have a Merry Christmas that I cut out of the designer paper, so it should match perfectly. And I have it mounted up on a little white piece, so we're going to foam it up and call this card done. But before we do that, I'm thinking I have some, let's see, I got some gold stars. I wonder if maybe a few of these wouldn't be pretty on that card. Let's keep that in mind. And I'm just going to glue this one with the ATG flat down on the card. This would not be my favorite card, but it uses this paper and makes it a usable format for a Christmas card that is very sendable. And sometimes when you're using scraps, that's what you need to remember is it a sendable card, whether it's my favorite or not? Because if you're trying to use up your scrap supplies, that's always the objective. Not to make the most beautiful card in the world necessarily, but to make one that's roadworthy. And this one definitely is. I'm going to foam this up. And this one has a little extra piece to go down in the inside. So that it matches the outside. I'm going to cut these to 5 1/4 inches long, and we're going to put them on the inside just like we've got them on the outside, and that pulls your card together very nicely then. And then this one's going to get glued, so I've got just a little bit of wiggle room there. And then I'll go ahead and stamp the sentiment on the inside when I'm through with all of them. But that makes a very nice inside treatment there and uses up all of that paper. Okay, let's see what this one is now. Oh, this one, it was the very last of the scraps. And if you had tried to make... I tried to make an A2 size card out of this, and it would have worked okay, but the scraps are 3 by 6, so that to me screams mini slimline. And that way you can utilize every bit of the paper. And I made this little embellishment to go on it out of some baked brown sugar paper and a Dollar Tree embellishment, a piece of white scrap. So it's going to go on like that, and the Season's Greetings will carry the front sentiment just fine then. And I pulled out some gold dazzles from paperwishes.com. And I thought, because I didn't have any more of that little striped gold foil paper, and I thought maybe that the dazzles would kind of coordinate this for us nicely. And I hate it when I do that, don't you? Whew. Now let's try to start again. That's much better. Okay. Then I'm going to glue this one down in the center of that. And again, I'm just looking for a center line here. And it looks like it's there and there. And then the Season's Greetings will go down in the center of that. You then have a nice looking card that has not got any leftover scraps anywhere. You've completely utilized those remaining pieces of that 6 by 6 paper pack. Now, in order to kind of break this a little bit, I want to pull some of these dazzles off of here. And let's see. Let's try these. Now, if you saw Sunday's video, you saw how I did the dazzles on that one, especially if they're not very sticky. And you can tell this one is really sticky, so we don't have to worry about gluing it down at all. I'm going to use my little finger blade here from Fiskars and cut that little piece off. Now there's another piece strip just exactly like that on here. Let me pull it, and we'll start it up on the other side here. And then we'll see some glam going on. Yeah. This is a really quick and easy way to add a little shimmer and shine to your holiday cards. And they're not expensive. I have some of these from paperwishes.com. And I have some from Love from Lizzie's, which is a UK company. Their shipping is a little high, but I understand that once a year they have free shipping. So I always try to get in on that if I need to order anything. So see how pretty that ends up being now with breaking that line there with the dazzles. Then the last thing to do is to glue this down, and I'm going to put it over the Season's Greetings right here. And because it already has that dimension from the wood, I'm just gluing it flat down. Now, in order to make this card, I just cut the size that I wanted, and then I used my, well, I call them chompers. Let's see. It is Crocodile, and it's the angle cutter, and I used the large angle or the small angle. I don't remember which one at this point, but you just put it in there. It cuts it off to make your little tag ears up there. So, and these are just some little shiny things from the Dollar Tree. This came from the Dollar Tree, and then I used a little gold pen to color the little baubles that are on the tree. And that card's pretty well finished also, except for the sentiment inside. Let me show you these cards again. There's that one and this one. This is the one that I like the least, but it still is a roadworthy card to go out the door. Here's one. And then this one has the same format as that one, just a little different. Do you have a favorite? Let me know. Okay, now this is the last one of my little scrap series, and I hope you have enjoyed it. I've gotten a lot of good feedback. Probably will be doing one again in the spring. I shall talk to you again soon. Have a great week, and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.